This is Pokémon Scarlet and Violet, and this is the coolest new Pokémon I've ever seen in my life. This little guy's name is SMOLIVS. It's perfection. He's adorable, he's precious, and I love him so much that I just had to have him on my team. So I jokingly said, let's do a SMOLIVS only run, lol. With that being said, introducing Pokémon Scarlet and Violet, the SMOLIVS only challenge. Get comfortable, grab a snack, and strap in, because this challenge ended up way crazier than I ever imagined. Let's answer the question, can you beat Pokémon Scarlet with only SMOLIVS? Let's go over what is so special about SMOLIVS exactly, other than its absolute adorableness and perfect fun for a name. The only thing that SMOLIVS isn't exactly perfect in is everything else. Its stats are crazy low. Its ability Early Bird is kinda mid as well, just making it wake up sooner from sleep. Its grass normal typing makes it weak to 6 types, but worst of all, its moveset is super limited. With only 22 attacking moves, of which 14 are grass and 7 are normal, leaving only one single move that isn't its base type, but we'll come around to that.
Stop acting like you know the way ahead, like you know the rules.
Now before we embark on this journey, we have to lay out the rules. First of all, the only Pokemon we can ever use in battle is SMOLIVS. Next up, we are not allowed to evolve the SMOLIVS under any circumstances. To make it just that little bit more spicy, we're not allowing any items in battle and we're playing the game on set mode. This basically means we're never allowed to click this option. Now you could say, just level them up to a level 100 and sweep everything, lol. No, that's lame. This challenge is about strategy, so we're adding one more rule. No overleveling. Now to win the challenge we have to complete all 3 roads of the game. There's Victory Road, Starfall Street, and Path of Legends. Got that? Alright, make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and let's roll. The game begins and we make our character Olive Farmer a reality. We pick our starter and... oh no, not this guy. I mean this guy. And we named him Olio. Using Olio we gathered a small army of SMOLIVS and called them Reserva, Fioi, Don Pascal, Wozdzianski, and Athea. Now these 6 names all have something in common. See if you can guess it, and the first person to get it right will get a heart from us. We continue through the early game cutscenes where we unlock all 3 of the objectives. Before we do anything else, we need to give them a stronger move than Absorb. Luckily the move Swift was available to us through crafting. We killed around 30 fledgling to use their feathers to craft ourselves some Swift TMs, because this is by far the best move we have at our disposal at this moment. With 6 bloodthirsty killers on our side, each equipped with the move Swift, I decided to challenge the first major roadblock of our challenge, Katie's bug-type gym. Our first attempt was going pretty well actually. She sent out her Nimble and with only 2 of our SMOLIVS we took it out. The Tarantula was surprisingly weak as it was somehow slower than us. But then, her Teddiursa came out and that Teddiursa was a problem. While it terrestrializes into a bug type, which grants it stab bonus on all bug type moves, there was no way we were surviving any hit from this menace. So we got outsped and destroyed very quickly. In the rematch I leveled each team member to the level limit we set on ourselves and tried again. We got past her first 2 Pokemon a little easier this time, but her Teddiursa was still going to sweep us without much trouble. It was just too fast and powerful for our little SMOLIVS. Until we noticed one of our SMOLIVS was different. Athea's Terra typing wasn't grass, it was normal. This means that Teddiursa can't use Fury Cutter as a super effective move, meaning Athea can tank 1 single hit. We lost right after gaining that knowledge, but now we had hope. And it appears there's this shady shop on the outskirts of the main city that just sells a bunch of useful items. We sold everything and bought ourselves a silk scarf, some white glasses, a miracle seed and 3 quick claws. We found a strategy that might just work. Wozdzianski and Fioi will take care of the first 2, but in order to take out the Teddiursa, Athea has to hit a 4% chance critical hit, and one of the 20% quick claw chances has to go off for us to do just enough damage and take out the gym. Here's what... okay, Athea, please. a crit. We have the stab boost, we have the terrestrialized boost. We have the silk scarf boost. Please do overhaul. Crit! Here we go, Don Pascal. What's the chance? Like we had 2 chances of 20%. It might not even kill, to be honest. Oh shit! Wait. No way. I don't think it's gonna kill, but holy shit! Let's go! Teddy Ursa finally falls and we get ourselves the first of 8 gym badges. Oh boy, if the first ever badge is already this close, it might be a bit hard to We travel on to Artisan Town to collect 10 rogue 3 FPS inferior grass types and talk to Brassius, who by the way, surely must have broken both his legs with a jump like that. He leads with yet another inferior grass type, which we quickly defeat after using some growths to raise our attack and special attack, and using absorb to regain some health. Which is very needed, because the next Pokemon he throws out is nothing short of an absolute unit. Oh, it's dead as well? Okay, next Pokemon was Sudowoodo, or should we call it Trilowoodo, who terrestrializes into the grass type that he's meant to be. He barely doesn't manage to kill Volchansky and dies to Swift the next turn. Grass badge has been achieved. As expected, Brassius was a complete pushover. Bro got swept by only one single Smoliv. We move on west all the way to the Dark type Team Star base, where we meet Clive. The guard in front wants to stop us using a Murkrow, but we swift it to death using only 2/3 of our team. Incredible! After entering the gate, we're tasked with taking out dozens of tiny Dark type Pokemon. Problem is that we're only allowed to bring 3 of our Smolivs, and they take a lot of chip damage, unless we specifically hunt down all the Zorwas, as they don't do any damage to us. After barely doing this little challenge and pissing off the leader Giacomo, he comes out with his laptop while it's literally raining. I don't know how this thing is still working, by the way. He very quickly shows us the exit, and oh boy, he absolutely destroys us. His team consists of only 2 Pokemon, Pawniard and Revavroom. The problem is that the Pawniard knows the move Aerial Ace, which is super effective and kills us every single time. We weren't fully leveled up, so we gathered some XP to level up a little bit more, which actually made our Smoliv survive a single hit from the Pawniard. There's another problem though. Pawniard is a steel type, meaning every single move available to us right now is not very effective on it. Let's say we do get every single hit off, we'd be left with a single Smoliv on about 1 HP against an entire car. Yeah, this battle isn't gonna work for us yet. We need something that hits this Pawniard harder than Swift. Remember in the beginning of the video I mentioned Smolivs know a single move that isn't grass or normal type? Introducing the only reason this run doesn't end at Giacomo, a beautiful move called Earth Power, which isn't available to us yet. Unless we take advantage of a totally intended mechanic that is in the game. You see, if you jump on a ledge backwards, the game doesn't put you in the sliding animation as easily compared to jumping on it normally, letting you do another jump. We can use this trick on a very specific spot to skip through a high level cave and reach a ledge where we can finally grab ourselves a single Earth Power TM. Let's try Giacomo again with our added power. The battle starts and we use Swift once and sacrifice Reserva. Afterwards, we bring out Athea, who has the highest special attack stat on the team. We tank a single Aerial Ace and we finally take out the Pawniard with Earth Power. But we're not done yet, because out comes the Revavroom, who steps on the frickin' gas. He takes out Athea and Fioi, but not without getting swifted once. Next comes out our star player of the fight, Don Pascal, who we immediately terrestrialize into pure grass, so that when we use a Mega Drain, we will heal more and do more damage. This strategy seemed to work perfectly until he used Metal Sound, which drops our special defense, making it so Snarl one-shot KOs us. But not after doing half his health bar first. 2 Smolivs left to do this amount of health. We managed to get off 2 Swifts with Oleo before he's taken out too, leaving us with only Volchansky.
Don't tell the rest, but you're our favorite. Go!
Yeah, obviously this, right? It might
Yeah.
kill. I think it... Oh no, don't crit me. Okay. If he lives...
Please. It's Quick Claw,
Quick Claw.
or like Metal Sound, or it's dead.
Here we go, Vodjansky!
Vodjansky,
Be quick!
yes!
Be quick!
Yes! Vodjansky clutch!
The clutch though! He knows!
Clutch!
Kill him! Vodjansky popped his Quick Claw, and with that popped all 4 of his tires at once, to barely get ourselves a victory. We collected our first Team Star badge, and spoiler alert, you'll see that the Team Star battles will give us the most trouble throughout the challenge. Next up on our list is to defeat the big ol' crab, which we should have done before the grass chip, but he didn't know it at the time and he wasn't too difficult anyway, so it doesn't matter too much. This man didn't put up much resistance, as for once we have a type advantage. The titans in general were surprisingly easy, so we won't spend too much time on them. What is nice though is that defeating this crab gives our motorcycle a very welcome speed boost. Iono and an electric gym located east are next on our list, but not before very quickly taking out the ugliest Titan Pokemon in the game. We also went to the hairdresser for a slightly new look, as we were about to be on Iono's stream. We check into the lobby and she immediately makes us beat up a bunch of her fans. They both fought valiantly, but were no match for the SMOLIVS. It's time to go to the main event of the stream and battle Iono herself. We use only 3 SMOLIVS on the first Pokemon. Her Luxio forces us to switch after landing a flinch in a critical moment, and the Belly Bolt is unfortunately too much for us to handle. We needed something more, so we changed up our strategy a little. So far we only had a Thea who could use Earth Power, but because we found it once already, we now have the ability to craft more. We re-entered the fight with only a slight change in strategy. Don Pascal now also knows Earth Power, and Thea is holding Soft Sand so her Earth Power hits harder. Here's how the battle went. The first thing we do is Terastrylize into Thea's normal typing, so that we can tank Watrel's Pluck and then do incredible damage with Swift. Watrel falls to only 1 SMOLIV. The next Pokemon is Belly Bolt. We use Grassy Terrain that boosts the power of our grass types. After Giga draining 4 times through Paralysis, we take out the Beanbag. Luxio falls to Don Pascal's Earth Power, which leaves us with only Mismagius left. This thing proved to be more difficult than I expected, as the move it hits us with is Charge Beam, which raises her special attack, making every Charge Beam after this hit way harder. If this menace didn't faint quickly, we'd lose again. Luckily, it kept using Confuse Ray, and it fell a couple turns after. Iono was defeated, and we get another badge under our name. Now buckle up people, because so far the bugged gym has given us the most trouble. But it's merely a slight drizzle compared to the absolute firestorm that is Mela. Let me explain. Almost every aspect about this fire camp is deadly. The kid that stands before the gate throws out a single Houndour. This little shit already swept us with only Incinerate. Getting past him was the easy part though, as all we needed to do was drain the rest of my college funds and buy 3 more Quick Claws. On our next attempt, the Houndour faints and we're allowed to move past the gate. Remember how we had to beat 30 Pokemon from the Dark-type crew like this before? And we had to pick specific ones not to die? Yeah, this time every single Pokemon deals massive damage to our SMOLIVS. But at least the opponents always faint though. I was convinced there was no way past this minigame, meaning the run is basically over. Luckily though, someone in my chat told me that Clive stands at the entrance and can actually heal your team infinite times. The way we beat this minigame was to repeatedly kill 3 Pokemon and then heal. I've kept the best for last. Mela. She only has 2 Pokemon, the Torkoal and her fire-type Revavroom. Torkoal has the ability Drought, which makes the weather harsh sunlight. So if its fire moves didn't already kill us, now it makes sure we never wake up again. Her second Pokemon really takes advantage of that harsh sunlight with its ability Speed Boost and very powerful fire moves, Blazing Torque and Overheat. Torkoal wasn't the biggest problem, as finally a Pokemon is slower than us. Even though this is the case, it still manages to take out 2 SMOLIVs consistently. And against Starmobile, with the heavy sun out, there was about a 0% chance of winning. Is this the end of the run? Mela Starmobile outspeeds and one-shots every single one of my SMOLIVs. Even if every single Quick Claw pops and we hit 6 Earth powers, it still survives. This is simply a wall we can't break through. The run ends with Mela, it seems. Thanks for watching, leave a like and subscribe, and now on to the weather report.
Thank you so much, Funky. As you can see right here, we are going to have a couple beautiful days ahead of us. Although do watch out during the end of the week as the winds shift north. There's going to be carrying a little bit of rain. A little bit of rain. A little bit of rain.
That's right, we still have one thing going for us. The rain, baby. When rain is present, water moves are stronger, but more importantly, fire moves are weaker. In order to beat Mela, we had to patiently wait for the rain to come out. You might say, dumbass, Torkoal's ability just gets rid of that rain anyway. Wrong! In Pokémon Scarlet and Violet, the overworld weather does not get changed by in-battle abilities. You know what this means? This means we can kill the Torkoal without much trouble, but more importantly, we can tank a single hit from the Starmobile. You'll see that at this point the rain stops, but because we went in with it raining, the game acts like there's rain, even though there's no droplets falling from the sky. After landing a charm, dropping its attack 2 stages, it's more likely to use Overheat, which drops his own special attack 2 stages. After doing this 3 times, the car is doing absolutely no damage anymore. I mean, look at this. This is a 120 power stab move that is super effective, and it does 12 damage. After chipping down on it with about 15 swifts, the car crashes down and Mela finally gives us the badge. Next up, we travel to the far east side of the map, deep into the canyons to get a hold on our next sandwich. Sadly, there's a giant worm in our way. Due to his ability, we're sadly not able to earth power him to death, so we had to resort to just sucking away at its health faster than it could kill us. After 12 minutes of just spamming Charm and Mega Drain, the worm falls and we get our sandwich, which allows our bike to jump just a little bit higher. After Mela, we catch a break and move on to the Cascarafa Water Gym. We meet Kofu. On our first attempt everything went well, until this Wugthrio, who may not seem threatening because it doesn't have any super effective moves against us, but all weaknesses can be worked around with critting. Sadly, with only 2 SMOLIVS left and a whole Crabominable standing in our way, we're not able to defeat him in this attempt. Who knew the Water Gym of all things would give us trouble, huh? But after a few more failed attempts, we swept around our items and got a strategy together. Oleo leads with a Quick Claw charm, meaning it could charm Veluza twice before fainting, giving Don Pascal enough headroom to 1v1 the fish. Atia's next to try to 1v1 the Wugthrio. So with many Giga Drains and leftover heals, the Wugthrio falls, leaving us with only 4 SMOLIVS versus the Crabominable. After he squashed an entire SMOLIV in one Rock Smash, we knew we had to Turtleize to grass if we wanted to survive a single move. Fioi went full plant mode and charmed the Crabominable. Now with some stroke of luck, the AI decided that Slam was the best move now, and he missed twice, which allowed Fioi to 2-shot him with Giga Drains. Water badge acquired. Traveling east again, we meet a trainer I had on my mind for a really long time. A trainer who I was so sure could stop the entire challenge on his own. Deep down in the forest, we find Team Star's poison hideout and their boss, Atticus. For most people, he's just another battle you get past and forget. For us, however, it's the second hardest fight in the entire game and the start of something wonderful. Atticus isn't only super effective against us, he brings out a team of 4 fully evolved Pokemon. Let me just say, even though we are leveled equally from this point onward, every Pokemon we face will be fully evolved, making the difference in stats very noticeable. He brings out Skuntank, Muck, Revavroom, and Revavroom but bigger. This fight was so incredibly difficult, we couldn't even get past his Muck. We fiddled around with all sorts of moves and items like Focus Sashes, Quick Claws, Leftovers and whatnot. Nothing got us past the Muck. Nothing seemed to work. I mean, how can 6 small, non-evolved grass types beat 4 evolved poison types? The answer is simply they can't. I'm not joking here. Atticus was literally impossible to beat for our team. Oleo, Reserva, Fioi, Don Pascal, Wozdzianski and Athea, they all gave it their all, but they're unfortunately just not enough. We ended what we thought to be the last SMOLIVS stream on a loss. I couldn't just give up like that though. I looked everywhere to see if we didn't miss anything crucial. Anything that could give us the upper hand. No, it can't be, right? Introducing SMOLIVS' hidden ability, Harvest. Harvest is SMOLIVS' hidden ability. It makes it so that once SMOLIV uses up a berry, it will regrow that same berry with a 50% chance at the end of the next turn. In Scarlet and Violet, there are two ways of getting a hidden ability on a Pokemon. One is to use the ability patch. This patch is only obtainable with a slight chance after defeating a 6-star raid battle. Yeah, not happening. And the other option is to catch a Pokemon in a 3-star raid or higher with about a 50-50% chance of it having its hidden ability. I opted for the latter. So I went around for hours, checking raid den after raid den, and after 14 hours trying to find a Dolliv with Harvest, I chose to save myself some serious time, and I went to the community to ask if someone maybe has a SMOLIV with Harvest. I ended up finding a streamer named Team Rocket Executive J, who was in the middle of shiny hunting. I asked him if he maybe had what I wanted, and he said he wouldn't mind searching for one. After an hour, he's actually found one, and was kind enough to trade it over. Very big thanks to you again. Literally could not have done it without you. His links will all be in the description, of course. After many eggs, we now have 6 SMOLIVs, all with Harvest. We level all our SMOLIVs up with XP candies we collected on the way. I almost ran out of good candies, so I gave Wozdzianski a shitload of very small XP candies. Our new soldiers are equipped with not only Harvest, but also 3 new moves. Namely Synthesis, Weather Ball, and the most useful of them all, Memento. We've also equipped them with Cassiopeia berries. Incredibly crucial. We move back through the gate and retry Atticus. Reserva, Fioi and Athea use Memento. Memento quickly became one of our most useful moves we had. It lowers the opposing Pokemon's attack and special attack by 2 stages, but the trade-off is that the user faints instantly. I mean, look at this guy's stats now. Wozdzianski is up next. He starts off with Trailblazing as much as he possibly can to raise our speed. When the Skuntank loses all his Venoshock PP, we start using Growth, raising our special attack, juggling some rest here and there when our HP gets low. There was another complication though. The Skuntank runs out of moves and starts killing itself right as we have to rest to get rid of the poison. I'm going to show you the rest of the fight without post-commentary, because things got really interesting. Oh no, it's all coming down to a freaking 1-turn sleep chance, isn't it? Oh no. This is it. If we wake up, we have a chance. And we're dead. No, are you kidding me, bro? Don't hit me, please. Do coil of sweet. No. That's right. Wozdzianski tanked and toughed out a move on 1 HP on the most crucial moment. He has never done this before. The Muk falls. The Revavroom falls. And out comes the Starmobile. We hit it as hard as we can, but it does not go down. Wozdzianski finally falls, leaving Oleo and Don Pascal against the rest of the boss. Don Pascal gets a hit off using our only Focus Sash, and we Turtleize Oleo, so its poison move isn't super effective anymore. And... go Oleo! Survive! Yes! Holy fucking yes! Oh, yes! Remember when I mentioned I gave Wozdzianski all the very small XP candies? After the battle, I learned that giving a Pokemon items raises its friendship with you, and if that friendship is high enough, there's around a 10% chance that a move that should normally kill will be toughed out. After almost 20 hours of prep work and strategizing, we not only beat Atticus, but also revive the run. Look at our team after this fight. This thing came to the absolute wire. Right after this battle, our SMOLIVS all learned the move Leech Seed, which will come in very handy later on. Time for the most relatable gym leader in Pokemon history, Larry! Our new strategy of setting up on the first Pokemon becomes a little bit more difficult, because his Komala spams Yawn like it's nobody's business. So we had to strategize, and the key to it is this. This green thing is called the Lumberry, which your Pokemon will eat once it has been affected by any status condition to cure it. This is also a great time to mention something cool about our ability Harvest. You see, when the sunlight is harsh, Harvest pops 100% of the time. So as long as we keep praising the sun, our SMOLIVS will never fall asleep. So after weakening the Komala and bringing the sun inside the restaurant, we were able to pump Vodjansky full of stat boosts while he kept himself awake with fruits. And it was a hop and a skip away to the gym badge. Have you ever seen a SMOLIV beat a Staraptor before? I didn't think so. Time to go through the cold ass mountains to get to the Ghost Gym, where the only double battle in the entire game takes place. Starting out, we thirstily Oleo into pure normal immediately. Because of all moves, her Onett knows Icy Wind. Thankfully, the crowd loved our Terrastration so much, they gave a boost in all offensive and defensive stats. We Leech Seed both the Onett and the Mimikyu to slowly eat away at their HP. Some Protect stalls and Giga Drains later, the Onett falls. Next up was Houndstone. It didn't know anything, so it pretty much died immediately. Our final Pokemon is Toxicity. Now, this would have been a problem, if not for the fact we had 5 SMOLIVS left, all capable of Leech Seed plus Protect spamming. Although it came to the very last Vitamin E based soldier, we defeated the Ghost Gym with very little As I was saying, with very little resistance we beat Rhyme. Ghost Gym badge acquired! We move from the cold mountains to the warm desert to find our next Paradox Pokemon. Great Tusk, the Paradox form of Donphan, who gets a fighting typing in addition to its ground typing. Despite this, equipping a few SMOLIVS with Focus Sash and having them use Memento makes this fight an absolute joke. Giga Drain away. After this we have lunch in a cave and suddenly our bike can fly. Before going to the next location, the Psychic Gym, we got stopped by a totally not yandere Nemona. But we don't actually have to win against her to progress. We lose and move on with our lives, but not before Geeta gives us a very useful tool for our next gym. Terra Blast. Moving all the way southwest on the map, we enter Alfornada town in order to challenge Tulip, the Psychic Gym leader. After the worst, most boring, broken, slowest gym challenge I've ever done. 30 minutes later, we make our way inside the building again, but not before doing something crucial first. This is a Psychic Gym. Psychic is weak to Dark, Ghosts and Bug. SMOLIVS can't learn a single one of these moves. But then I remembered something. Very early game, by pure chance, we caught ourselves a SMOLIV in a raid battle. And wouldn't you know it, this SMOLIV has a Terra typing Bug. I brought the level 10 SMOLIVS out of the box, named her Farchione, leveled her up and gave her Trailblaze, Growth and Terra Blast. If you don't know what Terra Blast does, this is a move that changes its typing depending on what Terra type the user uses. Even though Tulip has no effective moves against us, she was not easy in the slightest. There's 2 major problems we need to overcome. Her Gardevoir, who is part Fairy type, deleting our Bug super effectiveness, and her Florges, with a special defense stat higher than all our SMOLIVS combined. We had one thing going for us though. She leads with the perfect Pokemon to set up on, Giraffe. Athea leads and charms it until its attack stats is in the negatives, because for some reason it uses physical moves. Then it's time for our newest recruit, Farchione, to show what she's made of. She leads with 6 Trailblazers to outspeed the Espatra later, followed by 6 Growths. She does take chip damage from the Giraffe, but it's slowly healed by leftovers. We even gave her rest just in case the damage was getting too much. After completing the setup, we Tartaris into Bug type and nuke her Giraffe to the ground. Out comes Gardevoir, who can actually tank the hit. We did plan for this though. and as I bring in Reserva, who has the highest special defense and HP on the team, she survives the Gardevoir's Psychic and takes it out with an energy ball. Espatra looks like a problem, but it doesn't know its signature move Lumina Crash yet. So after getting off a Memento from Fioi and a single Leech Seed from Don Pascal, we start stalling it out with Protect, Giga Drain and Synthesis, until it eventually dies. It's time for her Ace Florges. Thanks to her Rust Rolling into pure Psychic, there's no chance we live a single hit. At this point we do have 3 Smolivs left. I sacrificed Ethia so Vodjansky could live, and then thanks to her Focus Sash, got off the much needed Memento, halving its special attack. Thanks to Oleo's sacrifice, Vodjansky can survive long enough against the Terraria Druid wannabe in order to get off a Leech Seed. We stayed alive using our Citrus Berry, we continuously ate again and again thanks to our Harvest ability. And with that, we secure our 7th and second last gym badge against Tulip. Thanks a lot Farcioni, you may rest in the box again. There's only one gym battle standing in our way. We've gone through Bug, we've gone through Fire, we've gone through Poison. If we're comparing raw power, these past leaders are nothing compared to our next obstacle. Grusha and his Ice-type gym. Remember when I said the Poison Crew was the second hardest fight in the entire game earlier? That's because the hardest fight in the entire game is not this fight. Grusha was an absolute pushover. We basically soloed his team with only Bony Select. Who's Bony Select, you ask? Well, when I was leveling up for this gym a little bit ago, we were just doing some raid battles, and thank Arceus I did that, because look at this. We quickly caught this Smoliv, named him Bony Select and leveled him up. This Smoliv has a Terra typing of Steel, making him not only super effective against ice, but also very resistant against it. The battle that followed was a quick one. We lead with 3 Mementos, trying to weaken the Frostmoth, and then... oh, we got critted? No worries, let's try again. We weaken the Frostmoth and start powering up... we are frozen! No worries, we just try again. We weaken the Frostmoth with 3 Mementos and bring out Bony Select. After Terrest, he speeds up 6 times with Terra Blaze and beefs up 6 times using Growth. Then the Terra Blasts start launching, and one after the other they all fall to the mighty Bony Select. Ice Gym Badge acquired. But Bony Select isn't done yet, because moving up even more north, we find a human Marshmallow, Ortiga, the fairy type team star leader. Just like the Ice Gym, this fight wasn't difficult at all. In fact, we did it on our first try, using the exact same strategy as with Grusha. I'm not going to spend much more time on him than necessary. Just sacrifice Smolivs, buff another, and sweep. Ortega falls and we get our second to last Team Star badge. There's only 2 places left for us to visit before we're allowed in the Pokemon League. Traveling southwest, we find one of the coolest areas in the game. A ginormous lake full of high-level Pokemon. One of them being a Titan Tatsugiri. Oh, I mean a Titan Dondozo. It being a water type, it gets totally devoured by only a couple of Smolivs. The whale very epically sinks down the Y coordinate at a consistent speed, and out comes a 3rd phase. For some reason they made this Pokemon Dragon type, so our grass moves aren't super effective anymore. Even though that's the case, it falls a couple turns after, and we earn ourselves another tasty sandwich. There is only one single trainer standing in between us and the league. This battle might as well be the entire league and champion in and on itself. Oh boy, strap in because this is going to be a wild one. Introducing, for real this time, our hardest battle in the entirety of our playthrough. Boss of the Team Stars fighting crew, Aerie. This woman uses not only super effective fighting types, not only has a team of 5 members, which is the first time we've seen this, not only is she the highest level trainer up until this point, but on top of all of that, leads with a freaking poison fighting type, Toxicroak? Can someone please explain to me how 6 normal type 30 cm tall glorified grapes are supposed to defeat a whole 4 MMA fighters and an entire 3-ton truck? Have I mentioned she also has an Annihilate with Fire and Ice Punch just to make this fight even spicier? I've been scared of this woman from the moment we got past Atticus. Our usual strategy of weakening the first Pokemon and beefing up from there does not work on the Toxicroak. Trust me, I tried again and again. After getting kicked out of her camp over and over, I knew we had to unlock the full potential of all our soldiers. It was time to look into IV and EV training.
Brother, are you just a little Smoliv that can't seem to beat a wrestling lady? And that can't even put a single hit on a toxic frog? Well, do I have the solution for you? IV and EV training. Your IVs are what you're born with. It's your DNA. You can have up to 31 in each of your stats. Each point correlates to one stat point at level 100. But thanks to the power of science and bottle caps, this limit that you were born with can now be broken. You just have to purchase some bottle caps at their low price of 20,000 Poké dollars a pop. Then go to this guy right here. This old friend of mine will help you out. For every bottle cap you give him, he'll bring one stat of one of your Pokemon up to the maximum. So after we've sold everything we owned, we were able to purchase all the bottle caps needed to make all these Smolivs swole. But they're not done yet. They've not done everything yet to become perfect. The next step in your journey to become swole is your EVs, or effort values. Your EVs are not something you're born with. That's what you gotta work for. You gotta train for EVs. Those are your muscles. Every Pokemon can work hard to get up to 510 points, up to 252 in 1. For every 4 effort values coming together to be 1 point in that stat at level 100. I mean, at level 252, your Pokemon will be 63 points stronger than its competition in any stat you want. Radical! You can also get your EVs up by using these stupid supplements. But around here, we work hard for our gains. After exterminating the local wildlife, these olives have come together to be the absolute perfect beings they can be. With Athea and Reserva getting maximum HP and a maximum defense and special defense respect, while the other ones of our olives are all getting max HP and special attack. Are you ready to rumble?
It was time to see if this challenge was actually possible or not. If these Smolivs can't beat Eri, there's absolutely nothing we can still do to improve. This is the team we will be using to battle Eri with all we've got. Let's try again. The battle begins with Eri's Toxicroak against our Athea. Let me remind you that Athea has the maximum HP and defense. Toxicroak lands a hit on her, but we actually tank the hit. She eats away on her Guava Berry, healing her up before landing a charm, lowering his attack stat. With his lowered attack, we survive another hit. We use Synthesis until Harvest pops up, giving us the berry back. That's right, Harvest can pop even after a couple turns. After weakening it 2 more times, we make it so that the Toxicroak barely survives. And this is intended, because before taking it out, we use the opportunity to put up grassy terrain, and only then kill the frog. Her next Pokemon is Passimian, who quickly takes out Athea with Close Combat. If you didn't know, Close Combat lowers the opponent's defense and special defense. Fioi comes out and lives thanks to her Focus Sash. Now with Passimian's special defense dropped even lower, and grassy terrain out, we one-shot the first monkey. Next comes out the second but stronger monkey, Annihilate. Usually Eri chooses to use Fire Punch to take out Fioi, but this time she chose to use Close Combat as well. This is huge, as we get a defense drop on him for free. It's Oleo's turn to get his face kicked in, and so he does, surviving only thanks to his Focus Sash once again, and landing a single energy ball before fainting. Don Pascal does the exact same thing, and the Annihilate finally falls. Lucario and the car are left. Reserva comes out next. She's the one with the highest special defense. This has been done on purpose because Eri's Lucario is a special attacker. Using the Chople Berry to halve the damage from its Aura Sphere, we tank a hit, allowing us to use Leech Seed. If you're wondering why we didn't use a Focus Sash to survive the same hit, it's because once we protect and get a little lucky with Harvest, we gain the perfect amount of health so we can survive one more hit. The only move we can do in order to have a chance at winning is to sacrifice Oleo with another memento, leaving only our star player Dvořák to take out Lucario and the car all on his own. The first thing we do is Rasta Sterilize into grass to take away our normal type, immediately followed by 4 growths, and right before it dies, we synthesize to be absolutely full health against the Starmobile. This is it. One juiced up Olive Boy versus Eri's fighting type Starmobile. Eri chose to use Shift Gear, raising its attack just to make sure we die. Dvořák launches the strongest move we have access to. And It survives the hit. I can't believe it. We are really this close to victory, but still so far away. Next turn I try Energy Ball again, just in case I survive a hit, not expecting anything. Ares Starmobile picks Combat Torque, and as the car approaches us, my heart sinks into the floor. And he freaking survives! But then my life flashes before my eyes. Eri hits a paralysis as a last resort, but it didn't help. Finally, after 30 plus attempts, Eri falls. With this well-deserved victory, we get our very last badge and are now able to go to the Pokémon League. Finally moving away southeast from that dreaded bamboo forest, we find ourselves chasing the next objective, the Pokémon League. Before we go there though, there's one thing I'd love to do first. The Elite Four uses Ground, Steel, Flying and Dragon. And because we beat Larry earlier, we're allowed to change our Terra typing. To do this, I went through a dozen raids to gather up 50 Terra shards of a specific type. Let's see if you can guess what typing I chose to give Wodjanski. The first battle is against Rika, the ground type user. As ground is weak to grass, this one will be the easiest one in the building. We decided to go for the usual weakening, strengthening and sweep with Energy Ball. On our first attempt, the Wish Cast hits a Muddy Water and it actually lowers our accuracy. Luckily, Wodjanski's focus is absolutely crazy and we didn't miss a single move. Another problem was the Dunfan's Sturdy ability, but luckily we were full health and it couldn't take us out in one move. The rest of our team fell apart pretty easily. Poppy is up next. I don't know how a toddler made it into Elite 4, but she quickly became the hardest fight of all four. The only move we have available that does any damage against Steel type is Earth Power, so theoretically it should be a decently easy battle. If it wasn't for Copperajah's Stealth Rock, Corviknight's Ground Immunity, Bronzong's Levitate, and Magnezone's Sturdy. After trying our usual strategy once, we immediately knew it wasn't going to work. A little more creativity was necessary. So let's go over what's good against Steel exactly. There's Ground, Fighting, and there's Fire. What if I told you SMOLIVS actually does have access to a fire move? Introducing the last introduction of the video, Weather Ball. Usually this move is just a normal type 50 power special attack. However, when the sun is out, this changes to a 100 power fire move that is boosted by that same sunlight. Poppy didn't know what was coming her way. The battle starts with 3 charms minimizing Copperajah's attack, followed by a Leech Seed to help Oleo set up easier. Then, very important, right before the elephant dies to Leech Seed, we set up a fresh sunny day, meaning we have 4 beautiful turns where Weather Ball will one-shot everything, except the Magnezone with his Sturdy. Don Pascal luckily tanks the hit and takes out that last health point. Bronzong the physical attacker is next. Because it's physical, we can use Charm 3 times again, Leech Seed it and set up once more. This is necessary because her last Pokemon will be a problem otherwise. Bronzong dies 8 turns later and out comes Poppy's ace, Tinkaton. Tinkaton has a very problematic move, Gigaton Hammer. With 160 base power stab terrestrialize boosted move, there's no way we're tanking a single hit. There is a workaround though, you can't use it twice in a row. Protecting on the first turn gives us a beautiful turn where we can do a move next. Tinkaton still manages to take out Don Pascal. Our star player Wodjanski comes out and hits it with Earth Power 3 times, eating his yummy berry when its HP gets low. The Tinkaton falls, and with it, Poppy too. It gets revealed to us that Larry is our next opponent. This man's working double jobs as gym leader and Elite 4. The economy's hard on all of us it seems. This time however he uses flying types. Yikes. Earlier I mentioned I changed one of SMOLIVS' Terra typings, right? Well, this Terra typing was the only one that could get us past this fight. After a few moments of setup, where Larry's Tropius actually set the sun up for us, which was pretty funny, we revealed to Larry that our Wodjanski didn't come to mess around. We make our star SMOLIVS Flarstaries into pure ice typing, making flying not very effective and making our Terra Blast shred through his entire team. And that is exactly what happens. All 5 of his Pokemon die one after the other, and that's that. Larry was not prepared for our ice type SMOLIVS. The last, highest level Elite 4 comes out, and it turns out to be Hassel, our history teacher. He uses dragon types, who, wouldn't you know it, are weak to, you guessed it, ice. We repeat our usual strategy of sweeping with Ice Terra Blast, and that's that. I wish I could say more here, but that's really all that happened. Well, who would have guessed we'd get this far, huh? Only one trainer is standing in between us and the title of champion. Top Champion Geeta. First try, we lose. Second try, we lose. Third try, we lose. Fourth try? Yeah, you get the drill. We lose over and over again. Here's the problem with the champion fight like this. With all the trainers in the past, all of them had one thing in common. Every single gym leader and team star boss, they use only one type for their whole team. This makes it so we can prepare against this one type and strategize a bit easier. Usually, at least. With Geeta, however, her team is very versatile. She leads with Espathra, then there's Avalog, Veluza, King Gambit, Go-Goat, and finally Glimora. This is the first ever fair 6v6 fight against another trainer. And spoiler alert, using our usual setup strategy does not work. Her Espathra's Luna Crash is a huge problem. It lowers our special defense by 2 stages, making setup absolutely impossible. I'll be honest, I'm kind of glad that our usual strategy doesn't work. That'd make for a pretty boring champion fight. After literally spending an hour just strategizing, which was surprisingly fun to do, this is what we landed on. Reserva leads. She's holding an item we very luckily bought or found somewhere in the past. I don't even remember. This is the Covered Cloak. It protects us from additional effects that moves do, meaning the special defense drop from Lumina Crash does not happen anymore. Oleo has been given Miracle Seed, boosting grass power. Fioi and Athea both have given Focus Sashes. Wozdzianski has the Aguav Berry for survivability, and finally Don Pascal will have to live long enough against Glimora, so we gave him something against poison moves. After this huge strategizing, we go in for our first attempt. Stages. Not anymore. They avoided it, which I think we're still fine.
Why'd you leech seed?
It's needed. Crit it. That's unbelievable. That is absolutely unbelievable. However, when we didn't get cucked by RNG, this is how the next attempt against the so-called strongest trainer in the entire game went. Reserva with the highest special defense takes out Espathra using a mix of Leech Seed and Giga Drain. Reserva isn't done quite yet though, because out comes Avalog, a serious contender for having the highest defense in the entire game. Unfortunately for it though, all its other stats are lacking. We naturally outspeed the Reverse Mountain and manage to set up a Sunny Day before getting taken out. This Sunny Day is absolutely crucial, because the next move we use is Weather Ball, taking out the Avalog in one fell swoop. I don't think Avalok should be on a champion's team if I'm completely honest, but I digress. Veluza is up next. It uses Ice Fang, but with it not getting the stab boost, we manage to survive the hit, and then we retaliate with an energy ball of our own. The biggest problem of the fight comes out next, King Gambit. Oleo immediately dies, but out comes Fioi and her Focus Sash. Because the heavy sunlight is still up from earlier, we're able to get off a Weather Ball before dying, taking it nicely past half health. Athea in her high defense finishes him off with an Earth Power. Another inferior's grass type gets thrown out against our SMOLIVS. Athea sets up a Sunny Day while the Go-Goat uses Bulk Up. After that she dies and Wozdzianski comes out. We immediately use Charm to counteract the previous Bulk Up. We have to use our Healing Berry, but with Sunny Day still active, we get it back guaranteed. We charm 2 more times again for good measure, and then we use Wozdzianski's Ice Terra Blast to its fullest potential, and it took out the goat in 2 hits. Now it's a 2v1 against Geeta's ace Glimora, the rock poison type. This is it. This is what all of our previous work has come down to. One Don Pascal versus the top champion's ace. We only get one move off, so this move has to kill Glimora in 1 hit, and launch the energy ball to end it all. Geeta actually manages to survive it pretty well, and after all of that we don't even manage to be there. We changed our strategy up a little bit and did try again. Instead of Tringelinging into ice with Wozdzianski, we use our regular Instead of Tringelinging into ice with Wozdzianski, we use regular old normal Terra Blast to take out the Go-Goat and set up grassy terrain to really power up our final move that little bit more. The climax gets us to the Glimora again. This time though, it will be Don Pascal who terrestrializes into pure grass. It launches Terra Blast, which will live with just 8 HP. If we did not spend every single training point we had into HP, we would not have survived this move. Now it's time to end this. We chose Energy Ball. He straps in and braces himself to launch the most important move of his career so far. And there he goes. Don Pascal's Stab, Terrestrialized, Boost by Grassy Terrain, Super Effective, Energy Ball! Our SMOLIVS have made it. They have proven themselves worthy of being called champions of the Paldea region. Normally this is where I would end the video telling you all to subscribe, but this challenge isn't done yet. Even though we've beaten the league and Champion Geeta, we still need to beat these 3 challenges, remember? Let's do one at a time though. And after a pretty epic cutscene, we start our final victory road battle against Champion Nemona. Nemona wasn't difficult at all, thanks to her leading with Lycanroc, who has nothing dangerous against us. For us, the real final battle of Victory Road was Geeta. Either way, with Nemona defeated, we complete one of the 3 objectives. Nice. Next objective, we'll look into Starfall Street. For this we head to school for the first time since our first class, and here it's revealed that Director Clavel actually has been the Team Star boss this whole time. Before I continue, if you experienced the story of this game for the first time through this video, I apologize. While thinking this battle would be another easy one, this happened.
No,
Shit! Live it! Oh my god!
No!
I didn't think of that! His monkey used our own raised attack against us. Thought that was kinda funny. And it's at this point in the run we realized that we've been using growth wrong the entire time. I'm willing to bet that at least 80% of you didn't know this, but growth doubles in efficiency in the sunlight, sharply raising the stat instead. Either way, on the second try we get past Clavel, taking out his Quavel with a normal type Terra Blast. Penny then wants to talk to us in the schoolyard, where she reveals not only that she's the real boss of Team Star, but she also reveals the best battle team in the entire game. It's such a shame we only get to listen to it for one short battle. Penny uses a full team of evolutions, and as you could have guessed, this battle was another easy one. Man, I really wanted to listen to this team more. Although right as we were about to take out her ace Sylveon with maxed out special attack, Stab Terra Blast, she actually survives the hit. I'm impressed. With only Fioi and Reserva left, there won't be much we can still do. We gave them Quick Claws just in case we got into a situation like this, but that ended up not coming into play at all, as Fioi toughed it out to not make us feel sad. She takes out the Sylveon, and at the same time wins us the Starfall Street Road. Nice. Only one road left, Path of Legends. Completing this is completely locked behind beating Arven at the lighthouse. Arriving at the lighthouse, Arven challenges us to a fight, but not before revealing that he's intending to use Mabosstiff that we just cured.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer?
Arven starts out with a Greedent that makes it seem like we're overleveled for this fight, but in fact the difference in level between this Greedent and his Mabosstiff is like 5. Greedent spams Body Slam which paralyzes us, but that's no issue. Oleo... I'm not even gonna try this one. Into normal and Terra Blast Greedent into next Tuesday. Garganical was no match for the earth crumbling around it, Toadscroll, Cloyster and Scovillain meet the same fate as Greedent. Then comes Mabosstiff. After Arven celebrates his recovery and makes him pure dark type, we... Back to the hospital with you. Oh man. Path of Legends completed. Nice. If you've already played the game, you know that a new challenge pops up. But don't worry, this challenge is not nearly as long as the rest. It's basically only one fight. You'll see. Now we can move to Area 0. For those unaware, Area 0 has been off limits for the entire game, and this is where Professor Sada has been doing research. In that area, we find multiple very strong Pokémon. There are past versions of familiar Pokémon. After carefully avoiding every encounter, we make it to Sada's lab. Now, to make it simple, Sada has a time machine that goes to the past and sucks Pokémon from the past into the present. She made a robot lookalike and put an AI onto it just in case she died. Spoiler alert, she did. Professor Sada's clone AI takes us down into the lowest room of her lab, where she asks us to disable the time machine. But then it turns out the original professor installed a defense protocol, where the AI Sada takes over if the machine is in danger. The time machine goes up, and with it the final battle, for real, in the entire game, starts. Sada literally just stone cold drops her Pokeball into battle, and she leads with Slitherwing. If you're not aware, this Slitherwing is a bug fighting type. Perfect. Which we're double weak to. Nice. Let's quickly look at its stats. Oh, 570. This is no joke. The strongest Pokemon we've encountered so far, with like 2 exceptions. And guess what? It's the weakest one on her entire team. Have I mentioned she has 6 of these? Alright, I know I said that using our normal strategy on the final boss is boring or impossible in some cases, but looking at this battle, there was literally no other choice than to do it. They're all different types anyway, so sweeping might just be impossible. Or so it would be if we didn't have Vodzianski. Let's for one last time go over what happened against Sada. The battle starts and we lead with Don Pascal, who's wearing the Focus Sash. There's literally no other way to survive a single hit except for the Focus Sash. We land a single charm in the same turn though, weakening it a little before we bring in Nathea and her insane defense. The charms didn't stop coming though, as we did it 2 more times to destroy its attack. Between the constant healing we had to do and our Guave Berry, there now was some room to land a swift here and there. Athea lives on 2 HP, but manages to destroy the bug after 15 turns of chip damage. Screamtail is our next Pokemon, and here's where things get turned into our favor. After landing our 3 charms again, it uses Ice Punch, and it throws a solid. Are you kidding me? Here's the thing though, berries don't get disabled, even if you're frozen. We very unluckily kept being frozen for about 5 turns. But while that's happening, Vodzianski was still snacking on its berry and regrowing them like crazy. Finally we unfreeze and we make Vodzianski do 6 Terra Blazes followed by 6 growths. And here it is, the final time we ever have to do this. Screamtail, thank you so much for not having any attack. Vodzianski's final job is to single-handedly make quick work of her entire team. The strongest, fastest Smoliv in the entire world. We start the damage by terrestrializing and using it on the Screamtail. It faints. Her Flare Mane gets hit and faints. Her Sandy Shocks gets hit and faints. Her Brood Bonnet is still a problem. Yes, it is weak to our Terra Blasts. Yes, it is slower than us. No, it doesn't have sturdy or anything like that. It knows the stab move Sucker Punch. For those unaware, Sucker Punch is a move that always moves before the opponent if they select an attacking move. And it does kill us, but we have a backup for it. Vioi, Oleo and Reserva all have Focus Sashes on them to just do that little bit more damage, just in case Vodzianski can't do it. However, we struggle. We win. Pokémon Violet beaten with only Smolivs. He's right. We have won. I can't believe I'm actually speaking these words, but we've won. Brood Bonnet faints for the first time ever. And even though Sada has still 1 more Pokemon left, it's Dragon type. So we outspeed it, and as Roaring Moon falls to the ground and our Smolivs take a sigh of relief, we prove to the whole of Paldea and the world that Smoliv is in fact the strongest Pokemon out there. To answer the question we asked at the very beginning of the video, is it possible to beat the whole of Pokémon Scarlet with only Smolivs? The answer is nothing but yes. This challenge has proven to me that you don't have to be perfect in something to succeed. All you need is the right mindset and a whole lot of persistence. We struggled so much, but we got there in the end. I know this video was pretty big and it took a lot of time to put this all together. Our little channel could use all the help it can get, so please consider subscribing as we're doing a stretch to reach 1000 subs. With that said, this was the Smoliv run. Thanks so incredibly much for watching, and see you when the next video goes Smoliv.